looking at, in particular, art house films and independent movies, and we've come up with an idea called PAPERCLIP.
For our film PAPERCLIP, the general plot is that, of course, the boy and the girl are constrained, and it begins showing shots of their mundane lives, like Beatrice in her office job and Caleb stuck at home living with his mother and sister. And when they go out, most of the film will be like showing shots of the two of them alone in vast landscapes, so they're like small and insignificant. Where the two of them are in the scene together, but they're always away from each other by inches, or they miss each other by a few centimeters. For example, we had the coffee shop idea where he flicks the paperclip, or they're sitting together back to back, or other ideas like they're both running for the same taxi, or we had this other idea where he calls Beatrice's number by accident as a wrong number and she picks up, so they talk briefly for a few seconds, which would be the only time they talk in the film. And we had other ideas like how they're together on the pier or at a woodland party, which is what Claire's idea was, and he sees her at the woodland party, goes to talk to her, but she's gone after he gets through the crowd, and so like they miss each other and they're both leaning on opposite sides of the tree, which would be examples of how it's ironic because they're looking for each other but they never do and they never meet. And this carries on until the end of the film where you're pretty sure that they do meet, until it goes back to a shot of Caleb's mundane life, of him with his mother and sister, and he leaves the house and we kind of imply that he dies, or we imply that they never meet. So the audience is like made to question whether all of that was dream or reality, which is the main theme of the film.
In terms of setting, we were thinking of having long landscapes and quite pretty pastel colours, with possible locations such as a pier on the beach, because it's quite symbolic of being out of reach of the sea. And another idea taken from the mood board is a woodland party with lanterns and lights and lots of people just dressing up and having a good time. So we'll have the two characters there at the party but still missing each other by 2 seconds. And another idea was a coffee shop, coffee house, when we get a close-up of the paperclip flying over to Beatrice's table, but still Caleb turns around and she misses seeing him for the first time. And other references to the paperclip can be when Beatrice is working in her mundane office job with a paperclip just fiddling on her table, not knowing that this paperclip is actually very significant.
Some of our inspirations we've been looking at include independent films, especially British ones, though we have been looking at other films such as Where the Wild Things Are, Amelie, Nowhere Boy, Cherry Bomb, to name a few. And we like Where the Wild Things Are in particular, to go back to what Kezia said about colour schemes. We really found it inspirational, especially the lighting, and we'd really like to mimic that in our own film. Our inspiration has come from films such as Sliding Doors, Inception and Amelie. They feature parallel lines and mixed up universes, and we really like that effect, and we'd like to try and do a plot which involves that.
And also in the trailer, when we were researching all the independent movies and the art house movies, we noticed that there's no voiceover, so instead we're going to have music that is quite independent music in itself, so that it shows that we're appealing to a niche market, and the only dialogue would be the phone conversation between Caleb and Beatrice, and maybe a few snippets of speech from other characters to just let the viewer know what's happening in the film.